GottaBeReel movie reviews with Thommi and Jules, and right now I'm doing a solo review of Amsterdam.
Amsterdam, 2 hours and 14 minutes. They've been doing this a lot lately with movies.
Yeah, they have.
Okay.
Well, this one's star-studded. Like, I'm not even going to list all the stars because we'd be here like freaking 20 minutes just listing all the stars that are in it. All right, so it stars Christian Bale as Bert, John David Washington as Harold Woodman. Margot Robbie plays Valerie. So they play like three best friends in here.
Okay.
Chris Rock plays
I didn't
Milton.
know he was in here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anya Taylor-Joy is Libby Vose. And Rami Malek plays her husband, Tom Vose.
That's our dude. That's our Freddie Mercury. My gosh, he did that role. Woo.
Timothy Oliphant plays Taryn. I don't think they ever really said his name. He's the bad guy.
Okay.
He plays a bad guy up in here. And he's good at playing bad guys.
Yes, he is.
And Robert De Niro as General Gil Dillenbeck.
I don't want to have to say that 3 times. Stop. I'm already messing up. I'm not even going to try. Gil Dillenbeck. It's a tongue twister.
You don't want to try it?
No, I better stop before I embarrass myself. Okay.
So this is set in the 1930s. Two friends witness a murder and they're promptly framed for it. So they find themselves tangled in a political conspiracy, and it's based on true events.
So this whole movie is loosely based on something that actually did take place in history.
Yes, and Robert De Niro's character plays a character that really existed in,
Well, I see in the previews, like what I am going to see it. What made me want to see it is when Christian Bale's character, he got punched in the face and his eyeball fell out on the ground, and he picked it back up and put it in. Like, of course I would find something like that funny, with my horror loving self. So I thought that was kind of funny. It looked like it would be a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, at first I was like, this does not seem like the type of movie I want to see, but we got to review it. But it really wasn't that bad. It was kind of leaning towards the kind of movie I don't like to see, but there was some humor and some lightness and some fun, Fun
in there.
Yeah.
They look like they have pretty good chemistry. Like in the previews, they look like they had good chemistry going on.
They had good chemistry. There's a lot of talking in this.
A lot of talking.
But, it's drama. Maybe I'm just so used to, like, action movies.
More,
all the dialogue. I'm like, God dang.
heavy on the dialogue.
Yeah, heavy dialogue.
So this was inspired by...
The business plot. Yeah.
Okay.
A 1933 political conspiracy in which wealthy American businessmen and bankers plotted a military coup d'etat to overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt and replace him with the fascist veterans organization headed by U.S. Marine Corps Major General Smedley Butler. Butler revealed the plot in a testimony under oath in the U.S. House of Representatives Special Committee on Un-American Activities in 1934. The committee concluded that the plot was indeed concocted, but none of the plotters were prosecuted. General Dillenbeck, Robert De Niro, is based on Butler. And at the end, there are extra scenes. So at the end...
After the credits start rolling?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they show... General Smedley Butler doing his speech, and then they bring up Robert De Niro next to him, and he's doing
actual footage.
Yeah, they show the actual footage, and then they bring up Robert De Niro's character because he does the speech during the movie, and they show them, they blend them side by side doing the same.
Cool. I love real footage in movies. It just gives it a bit of authenticity, and I like that.
Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan was originally cast as the project geared up for an April 2020 shoot, but when the filming delayed nearly an entire year due to COVID-19 pandemic, Jordan became unavailable due to scheduling conflicts and was replaced by John David Washington.
All right.
I don't know if I could see Michael B. Jordan in this role. John David Washington did a great job, and maybe he made it his own or something, but
yeah, I couldn't.
Now I go back and I think about it, I'm like, maybe he could have, it's hard to tell because hindsight's 2020, but I don't really see him
doing that role. And he's been working a lot, so I could see where the scheduling conflicts came up. And it's like, literally for the past 2 years, it's like, it almost feels like more than half the time we do a review, it's like, this movie was delayed due to COVID. Yeah. I'm so sick of hearing it. I will be so glad when it's so far behind us that we don't have to keep hearing, the movie got delayed, and here's why it came out later. And then we had to switch directors. Now the movie sucks. Not this particular one, but I'm just saying, I'm just so sick. I am so over
hearing about COVID. The cast includes three Oscar winners: Christian Bale, Rami Malek, Robert De Niro, and 2 Oscar nominees: Margot Robbie and Michael Shannon.
Now hold up, Christian Bale stopped talking to Chris Rock on here. What? Why?
Because he's too funny and it was distracting. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So you had to stop talking to him for a while. They're friends. It's just
really, you know, it's funny because I just watched, as I was doing this Face of Horror competition. We watched a video of Kane Hodder, and he specifically said there are times when he was in his Jason Voorhees costume, and you know he doesn't talk, but there were times he said he would be close to one of the actors and he would purposely, intentionally say something to them to make them bust out laughing. And he said they would get mad because they were done with, about done with the scene and they had it taken care of. And then he goes and says something bizarre in their ear and they bust out laughing. He was like, it was totally for my pleasure. That's it. And it was hilarious. I thought that was so funny, and that just made me think of that.
There's a lot of humor in this movie too, and a lot of camaraderie. Like I said, Christian Bale, John David Washington, and Margot Robbie play 3 best friends, and they have like a lot of scenes together, and their camaraderie is pretty good, and their humor is good too.
Every time I see Christian Bale, I cannot help but think about American Psycho.
Yeah.
I think that is just like him. You say that, you see his face. And they did a sequel with, was it Vanessa Hudgens? It was just terrible. Like, I don't know, making her a girl. I trust me, I'm all about the girl power and all that, but it just wasn't a good movie. Maybe that's just it.
Yeah.
But American Psycho, the original, that's a classic you should check out.
And Chris Rock is very funny in this too.
Is he?
Even when he's not talking, just his facial expressions.
He's just funny.
Hilarious.
That's the
so I can see why Christian said that. Yeah.
Like, this dude is messing me up. We about to extend the film time.
When he was in Spiral, I was like, I can't with this because it's like he did a whole comedic set in the beginning of that movie.
I liked him in it, him and Samuel L. Jackson in it, but I know what you mean. It's some people, like even with Will Ferrell, he could not be saying something funny and it's just still freaking funny because that's just who they are. And it's kind of hard sometimes to separate, especially when you get them in a serious film. Yeah, it's just hard.
It works in Amsterdam.
Yeah, though. I don't think he could probably ever get away from people like Chris Rock, who are great comedians. I don't think they can ever get away from that at anything they do. He can do good, obviously. Right. We didn't see him as Pookie. That's what we met Chris Rock. We know he can do it, but at this point in time, it's just something about him. He could say boo and make it sound hilarious.
Well, his character, you just have to see it. But you know what? Like I said originally, so bear with me on this. This is, I was like, this is not necessarily my type of movie, but I still went to see it. But I'm going to give it a strong 3.
Did your dad see this with you?
No.
Okay. I was going to ask what he thought about it.
I'm just going to give it a 3 because even though it's not fully my type of movie, it could have been better. But
I never heard the story before until now.
I never heard the story and it's a whole story. There's this group called the Five that they're responsible for killing the person that these people are framed for. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So it was interesting. It was fascinating. If it comes on TV, I would say for sure watch it.
Would you recommend anybody going anything past matinee if they wanted to see it now?
Not really. No. I mean, maybe if you just are a super big fan of these guys, but matinee, I would say matinee is fine. I would say Redbox is fine. It's an interesting story if you're tired of all the horror movies that are out right now, because it's October currently when we're reviewing this.
They've been disappointing, so
I know.
Can you get any worse?
If you love a story that's based on a true life story, like, this is your thing. This is, like I said, humor.
You said humor.
Humor.
I kind of like that. From the South.
Drama. Some. There's a violent scene in the very beginning, and they flash back to it. So I don't know if you want to bring your child. You might want to cover their face, but
a body gets completely destroyed. Is what we're just going to tell you, and they show it.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So you're going to give it a nice 3.
I'm going to give it a nice 3 for sure.
Okay. So either matinee it or wait until it streams to play it. Just a okay movie. Just a decent watch.
Yeah, it's a decent watch.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Our review of Amsterdam. Don't forget, for us, we are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. We're on Cash App. And We are on the FearCon network. You go to Connect to Your City Studios, click on the FearCon tab. You're going to see all of our horror reviews, some thrillers, some old stuff, some new stuff. Tell us what you want us to see. It doesn't have to be horror. It could be from any genre. Let us know what you want to see. We'll review it, shout you out on the show. Talk to us. When we're reviewing these movies, talk to us. Tell us something that we don't know about. That's what we like.
Yeah,
let us
maybe
know.
You know about this 1933 business plot.
I would love to hear from somebody who was actually living back then and maybe kind of was around for it. And I'm curious how accurate, it was. Because we know there's going to be some embellishments when you're talking about movies.
Oh, yeah, this is just based on it. So there's plenty, like I said, names will change and actors and
all that good stuff. All Hollywoody stuff.
So this is just based on it.
Based on it. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you have it. We want to thank you very much for tuning in to our review of Amsterdam. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.